I would say the biggest deliverable, and it gets to the way the alliance has become more coherent in recent years, including with its partners. I think the biggest deliverable was the firm support given to Ukraine across the board, and that included from allies and partners on the other side of the globe. You know, of course, the Indo-Pacific partners of NATO were at the summit in Washington, including President Yoon of the ROK. And I think that really strong message that it's not only the NATO alliance, but allies and partners across the world who are concerned about the aggression that Russia has committed against Ukraine and really committed to ensuring that this does not turn into an example for autocrats in other parts of the world, including in Asia. Well, first of all, and this goes for all NATO member states as well as NATO partners, each country must decide for itself what it is willing to do for Ukraine in terms of providing assistance and support. And there is a range of differences among the NATO allies as to how much support and assistance they are willing to render to Ukraine. So I think it is quite natural that partners of Ukraine decide for themselves what kind of support and assistance they wish to give. And I know that President Zelensky understands that. I wouldn't go so far as to say the DPRK supply of weapons and equipment to Russia has meant that DPRK is joining the war as a proxy. I would say in the same way China is an enabler, DPRK is enabling Russia to continue in the fight. And we do see apparently more and more extensive and sophisticated DPRK equipment, such as and weapons such as long-range missile systems being found in Ukraine, having detonated and exploded there. So it is clear that North Korea is playing a significant role for Russia and is, I'm sure, getting something in return. And I think that there can be a kind of mutual interest between the United States, the NATO allies in Europe, and the allies and partners in Asia in terms of ensuring that we are all aware of what the flow of technology and technology assistance is in both directions, both North Korea to Russia and Russia to North Korea. The United States president always has the final decision, and that is very much part of U.S. nuclear doctrine policy and an inherent part of the president's authority that he has the ultimate responsibility for nuclear weapons decision making. And I think that is important. So that's the reality of the situation. But what I've understood about the importance of the Washington Declaration, and by the way, it has taken on additional importance in the year since it's been agreed, is that it has helped to flesh out a much more sophisticated and intensified nuclear planning relationship between Seoul and Washington. I understand that the relationship in nuclear planning that has been worked out with Seoul through the Washington Declaration bears some similarities to the NATO planning process, and therefore the kind of sophistication and cooperation that goes into NATO planning is also, I think, taking shape in the context of the relationship between Seoul and Washington. And this is a very important aspect of extended nuclear deterrence. I'm quite worried about the technology cooperation that the two presidents agreed behind closed doors. Many Russian experts have publicly poo-pooed the notion that Russia would be supplying the North Koreans with the ability, for example, to develop better warheads that would be capable of surviving re-entry into the atmosphere and actually detonating. It's quite a difficult technical task. So I hope that those Russian experts are right. What Kim Jong-un needs is he's looking for technology assistance to improve his nuclear warheads and his nuclear missiles. My vision of the biggest takeaway from that summit is that they now have this deep relationship they're talking about, and I worry that it does involve some very deep and intensive technology cooperation in the nuclear realm.